What's going on, guys? MariK here, back with a new type of video we're going to be doing on the channel with the Pokemon Direct coming out next week, the Pokemon business announcement that they just had today. E3's coming up. I wanted to start doing videos on all these new things that we're going to be excited about and giving my opinions and my take on them, being able to try and give you guys this information as well as getting your opinions and your feedback on it as well. So today we're going to be talking about the Pokemon business strategy announcement, as they call it. It was the Pokemon 2019 press conference, I think was the other terminology they used. Basically, this is about where they're taking Pokemon as a franchise. So there's no Sword and Shield information in this. This is all about where Pokemon is going as a franchise, not just as the games. One of the first things they ended up talking about was Detective Pikachu. Based on how successful Detective Pikachu was, there's actually going to be a second Detective Pikachu game that's coming out. The Detective Pikachu game that came out for Pokemon 3DS, which I have never played it myself. They mentioned that it ended off on a cliffhanger. There was no real decisive end to the story. So a sequel to Detective Pikachu will be coming out on the Switch probably in 2020. I don't believe they have any plans for it to come out anytime soon. However, with the success of the Detective Pikachu movies, Pokemon is now anticipating that the Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution movie will be just as successful, maybe. They could be playing off the nostalgia a good bit. I don't know how true it's going to stay to the original Mewtwo Strikes Back. It could be like how they changed, they basically rebooted the series with the two new movies. You had the one about the I Choose You that had the Ho-Oh in it and the Talking Pikachu, and then you had the Lugia movie. I haven't seen either of them, if I'm going to be honest. This movie, I really don't like the design. I don't like the animation for it. Like the Pokemon look great, but they should have left the characters in more of like an anime style. Then, in my opinion, what was probably the biggest reveal of the entire press conference, it touched on one of the biggest, if not the biggest, feature to the core Pokemon games, and it was the ability to transfer your Pokemon from one generation to another. If you started with Red, Blue, and Yellow, like I did, then you'll understand how important this was, especially because you could transfer them from those Generation 1 games up to Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and then they kind of cut it off there, and when they came out with Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and you couldn't get any Generation 1 or 2 Pokemon. Actually, they came out with Ruby and Sapphire, then they came out with Fire Red, Leaf Green, then Emerald. But before that, you couldn't get a Bulbasaur, you couldn't do none of that stuff. And then they came out with Fire Red, Leaf Green, and you could transfer Pokemon. You could transfer them from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald to Diamond and Pearl to Black and White to Oris, all the way up to Sun and Moon. And being able to take those Pokemon that you have used from the very beginning is, for a lot of us, especially like older players like myself, like there's that nostalgia to be able to go, I got this Pokemon from this game way back when, and I still have it. And that's something really cool that they've allowed us to be able to do. And because of that, they are now introducing what they're calling Pokemon Home, which is basically an upgraded version of Pokebank. Pokemon Home, however, is going to allow you to take any Pokemon from Pokebank, put it into Pokemon Home, take your Pokemon from Pokemon Go, put it into Pokemon Home, take your Pokemon from Sword and Shield, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. All of those can be put together in Pokemon Home. So, the way I'm interpreting this is, and I'm hoping they don't do away with Pokebank. I would think they wouldn't, especially if they want to keep the trend going of being able to transfer, because it's harder to do now because you can't do online stuff with the older consoles. But even so, if you've got the hardware, you can transfer from Generation 3 games up to Diamond and Pearl. You can transfer them from to Black and White via Wi-Fi. You can transfer those with up to Generation 6 and 7 with Pokebank, and then right there from Pokebank you could put them right back into Pokemon Home. which works on everything, and it's going to be really cool to be able to transfer all those Pokemon up. A buddy of mine actually the other day just got a shiny Melmetal, and he was debating if he should transfer it to Pokemon Let's Go, and I told him, don't do that yet. Wait till that press conference. Wait till Nintendo Direct, and let's wait and see what they say about being able to transfer Pokemon, because we knew that there was going to be a way to transfer Pokemon with Sword and Shield. And I had heard that once you transferred a Pokemon from Go into Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, that it could not be traded back. So I wanted to make sure that he didn't get his Pokemon stuck in a game he couldn't do anything with. Now, once you transfer it to Pokebank, obviously it can't go back to Pokebank. Once you transfer it from Go, it can't go back to Go. And once you transfer it from Let's Go, it can't go back. But Sword and Shield, you can transfer it to home and back to the original game. So that will allow you to get those Pokemon out, obviously, because home is the new Pokebank and Sword and Shield are the newest titles coming out. So now I'm thinking, even if he does transfer that Melmetal from Go to Let's Go, he can then transfer it from Let's Go to home, and then from home to Sword and Shield. So as long as they don't do away with Pokebank, we can continue to transfer Pokemon up from the oldest games, which I'm looking forward to, just because I had some things I wanted to do with the older games and with Pokemon I had in those older games anyways. So more than likely Pokemon Home will have a subscription. I'm kind of hoping that what they'll do is, if you already have the Nintendo Online service, that Pokemon Home will just be integrated into that. So it wouldn't be like a separate feature you'd have to pay for. That's my hopes on that. Okay, now on to Pokemon Sleep. This is something that... This was probably the weirdest thing out of the entire press conference. Pokemon Sleep is coming out in 2020, and it goes along with Pokemon Go. Essentially, since Pokemon Go made it more enjoyable to be outside and being active, Pokemon Sleep is supposed to provide entertainment while you're asleep. I don't really know what that means. It's supposed to, like, use data for the game while you're sleeping. Like, I don't understand that. Not to mention, it says to put the Pokemon Sleep device on your bed. How is it going to know if it's on a bed? And how is it going to know if you're asleep? What if you just leave it on the bed 24/7? Until they tell us more about it, it's just kind of a, what is this, you know? Not to mention, like, Pokemon Sleep, it just sounds weird. We already have Pokemon Go. They should have named it, like, Pokemon Stop. Since you gotta stop to rest, and then we got Stop and Go. I think that's a gas station anyways. That's a bad joke. I don't know what else to say on this topic. Pokemon Sleep. It's something. If you look right here, this is the device that is going to go with Pokemon Sleep. It's called the Pokemon Go Plus Plus. It's basically like this little disc. If you remember the Pokewalkers from Heart Gold Soul Silver, it's kind of like that, but a little bit bigger. And you just kind of chill with it on your bed, and it's supposed to somehow, while you're sleeping, it's going to alter your game data based on, I don't know, how well you sleep? How long you sleep? Like, they haven't said anything about it. And as crazy as it is, if you look, like, it's supposed to feed data from the device to the app on your game through Bluetooth. But if you look, this guy, I'm going to mute it so that we don't get we don't get a copyright claim. But look at this guy. He looks like he's about to fall asleep, first of all. And honestly, to me, I watched the press conference, and he's English speaking, so it's not even like there needed to be a translator. He did not sound like he himself believed in Pokemon Sleep, that he believed in the device itself. So I really don't know what to think of it until they give us more on it. It probably will escape my mind in my sleep, and I probably won't even think about it again until they actually tell us what it does. This is probably the second biggest reveal during the press conference, aside from Pokemon Home. This is called Pokemon Masters. It's basically a new smartphone game where you use Pokemon to battle against all the main characters from, they didn't specify, but from all the Pokemon games. Here we've got Lance, we got Cynthia, we've got Red, we've got Steven, we got that gym leader from Generation 6. So, Brock in the background on top of the Onix. I didn't even see him riding up there. From the little bit of gameplay footage we actually got to see, we've got Blue with his Pidgeot. I'm guessing that's the trainer. We've got Cynthia's here. Misty with her Starmie. Like, the game looks great. This shows the player battling with Starmie, or with Misty and Brock against some other characters. Brock is looking fierce as shit. Like, he's going Super Saiyan in this video. And that Ponyta just got destroyed by that rock slide. The game looks super clean, but until we know more about it, it's kind of just riding on the hype of the main characters. It's going to be another cell phone game. Is it going to be a gacha game? Like, how do you acquire your Pokemon? Can you transfer them from Pokemon Go? Can you transfer them from Pokemon Home? Probably not from Pokemon Home. Do you go out and catch them? Like, it's going to be one of those things of how do you acquire your Pokemon, and are you just randomly battling NPCs? Because if it's like the Pokemon tournament that was in Black 2, White 2, post-game where you could battle gym leaders, champions, that stuff, that would be pretty cool. That would be really cool. I don't know how much interaction there actually would be in the game, and until they tell us more, we won't know. It is supposed to come out this year, so probably in the holidays, I would assume. Again, it looks super dope, being able to battle with gym leaders and such, with them and against them. But until this actually comes out, again, like, they were really discreet about the information they were giving out, which is fine. With the Pokemon Direct coming out on the 5th, I don't want them to give us a whole lot of information. I don't want to see all the Pokemon. I do want to see the starters, evolutions, and the box art legends. But after that, you don't really have to show me a whole lot of stuff. Like, it's nice to have stuff to surprise us. But when you've got a new game like this coming out, it'd be nice to actually also know how the game plays. With the core Pokemon games, we don't need to know that because we already know how to play them. The last thing that they mentioned was Pokemon shirts. And just seeing, like, the designs here, some of them are really, really hard to even see. Like, you've got the one up here in the top left that's got the Magikarps. That one's just, like, clearly you can tell it's Magikarps. You've got this one down, like, right underneath the Pikachu logo. Looks like it might be, like, the ghosts from Lavender Tower. You know, I'm not really too sure. I don't like the little pockets where they are on the shirt. It actually looks terrible, and functionally probably is not that great either. But I don't know. The shirts might be nice. I'd have to see more of the designs for them. However, a buddy of mine earlier sent me a link to them, and these shirts are $160 a piece. Now, you can customize them however you want to. You can customize the design if you want long sleeve, if you want short sleeve. You've got the sizes, but I mean, $160. And I mean, you can customize it too to have different fabric on, like, the collar or the pocket, or like on the cuffs at the end of the shirt. But even so, $160 is insane. Why it's so much money for a shirt with a Pokemon? Like, you can go and get a Pokemon shirt at Walmart for like $7 if you really wanted to. You could go and get a nice one at like one of these anime stores. But $160? I mean, they're kind of like businessy, but sorry, like, if I had that kind of money, I'm not spending it on shirts. So not to trash the idea, because I think it's cool, but I just don't understand the price tag. But I don't know. It might turn out to be a huge success. I personally will not be getting any because, like I said, $160 for a shirt is outlandish. If I can find a nice one cheap enough, then sure, because I would love to be able to sport more Pokemon stuff, during the like 2 days a week that I actually get to wear what I want to wear for a change. And that's about it for the Pokemon press conference. They kind of showed us some new things that they're doing with the Pokemon franchise, but some of it's just weird. Like the Pokemon shirts, or even the Pokemon Go Sleep, uh, Pokemon Go Plus Plus. That's just kind of really out there. The cool things, though, Pokemon Masters looks really dope. The animation in the game is solid. And then we've got Pokemon Home, which is going to allow us to transfer all this stuff from different places, which is really cool, too, because it means your shiny Pokemon are not trapped in Pokemon Go forever. They're also not trapped in Let's Go, which means all the legitimate shinies I've caught in Let's Go can be transferred on, and I can use those Pokemon. And that makes me really happy as well. But we're going to wrap this video up here. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are excited for, what you guys think about any of the new features. I still think that Pokemon Home is the biggest reveal that they've had for us today, with Pokemon Masters being a close second. The rest of it is just kind of here nor there. We can't really... The rest of it we can't really judge without knowing more information about them. And at this particular moment, I don't even know if they really know a whole lot about the things like Pokemon Sleep themselves. But with that, we're going to go ahead and get the frig out of here now, and we will see you guys in the next video.